G'day comrade subscribers. As you can probably tell by whatever part video this is, we've had the Sirius on before, but this is my second Sirius. I must be serious about them. RDRR. So, why do I have this? Well, I think this is probably a better example. Keyboard seems better, less used. It doesn't feel too bad actually. It's almost like a kind of like a kid's version of a Sinclair, you know, Sinclair Junior for the kids. You know, nice big keys. So I'm not saying that in an insulting way, but I'm just saying that's kind of how it looks to me. You know, nice and big, and you know, easy to see, I guess. But yeah, we've discussed all that before. So it's got AC power in. So in other words, it's got a transformer that's flying around everywhere, causing God knows what damage, because it was probably just glued down 40 or 30 years ago. Reset button, joystick, TV, tape, all in Latin, and power there. So no power switch, you just plug it in. Well, I got this for a particular reason. Well, okay, it's in better example, better condition, but I think the motherboard is quite interesting. So I'll open it up and we'll have a look. Okay, I think it's just the two screws. The other ones are not there. There's a screw there, but I think that's for something else. Yeah, okay. Right, let's turn it back around. Doesn't really matter if I lose the screws. Okay, so let's get the keyboard off. Okay, how much room do I have? Oh, not much room, unfortunately. Well, let's just do that for now. So yeah, here's the transformer. So this is basically the power circuit. So we've basically got the transformer, probably outputting 9 volts, and then we've got a linear regulator, and we've got a diode, a rectifier here. We'll have a closer look. There's always the problem when they've got the built-in power supplies that they normally just glue it down from my experience anyway. Smoothing capacitor there. So let's get. So that's what's screwed down is obviously the regulator. We'll get that loose. Alright, let me just do this and I'll be back. Okay. Still, I think this is our 5th day of just constant rain almost. So, got flooding and stuff in town, and people have had to be evacuated near the Hastings River. So we're okay. Where we are. So let's just turn the soldering iron on. So yeah, this was basically the power supply. Best of luck. You can see the transformer was glued down there. It looks like the regulator, the rectifier and the smoothing capacitor were glued down there. So it would have been probably okay back in the 90s. It would have been solidly glued down, but obviously, yeah, it is what it is. So that's the good bit of metal. Keep that. Right. I just want to desolder these. Don't look at my soldering tip. Just get this out. And yes, I do keep these. I do keep them. I don't chuck them away. Come on. There we go. Right. So there's the nondescript transformer. That does, what does it say? Something P. 112, 115. Is it G? GP maybe? Not sure. Voltage comes in, voltage goes out. Right, so I don't know, I assume maybe the rectifier had some sort of label on top, because otherwise it doesn't really have anything. Let me just tidy this up a bit. I got a little bit of a tingle when I was trying to desolder that leg with my AC soldering iron. So maybe I'll just put it down and then not touch it. There we go. So yeah, so I do keep these. I don't throw them away. I'm planning to do a first kind of goodie bag for my Patreon subscribers, and I'm going to send some Soviet parts, well, depending on how many I can fit and depending on how much it's going to cost to post. Anyway, so this is 16 volt, 2200 microfarad and 9205. So I think it was weeks, isn't it? They use weeks, not months. So yep, there you go. Yeah, as you can see, no plastic coating. That's pretty standard. And this is probably the standard little KR or something regulator. There we go. Just tidy it up a bit. Anyway, whatever. There we go. So, was it KR? I'm trying to read it. KREN5A. There we go. Just 5 volt regulator, 7805 equivalent, and rectifier. As you can see there, you've got your AC terminals, and then you've got your plus and minus. So quite similar to Western designs, I guess. Right, I'll tidy this up. Okay, there we go. So probably what I'd do is I could either stick a cable, DC cable in, or I could just make that hole a bit bigger, or I can put it anywhere here really, and just put in like a USB socket, or 5 volts in basically is all you need. Right, now the actual machine itself, ta-da! I thought this was probably the smallest Spectrum motherboard I've ever seen. Okay, it is. Okay. It is held down by a little bit of wire that's been melted into the case. Interesting. It's an interesting way of doing that. Unfortunately, we've got the keyboard 1 and 2 is a bit awkward the way they've got the keyboard 1 and 2 on opposite sides of the board. But yeah, if you have a look, rather than use the screw hole and some screws to hold the board in place, they've soldered a little bit of wire on and then melted it into the case. Okay, right, so that's our power in. This is obviously our keyboard 1 and 2, 8 wires and 5 wires. I'm just going to get the board off. Hang on. Okay, keyboard's off. So, yeah, first thing you can notice, all the capacitors have been removed. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of that rubbish. There we go. Sorry about that. So as you can see, all the capacitors have been removed, just been chopped off, and the legs are left sticking out. So annoying, but that's what we have to do. Looking at the dates, so we've got 94, so I'd say this came out in 94. So we've got an Angstrem Z80 analog, KR1858VM1, and then we've got the ROM here as well. So there's basically the T34 series, the Z80 and the Sinclair ROM, and of course the BMK, the T34 BMK. So this piece of magic is what makes the board so small. So you essentially have got a CPU, the ROM, 64 kilobytes of RAM, the BMK, which is the ULA equivalent, and then a few bits of logic for the cassette. So you've probably got a hex inverter for the tape in, and some other bits and pieces. Interestingly, they're using an 8 megahertz crystal. Normally I've seen they use 14 megahertz, which they can then halve to 7 megahertz, and then again to 3.5 megahertz. So so that's interesting. But yeah, I just think the board is just so tiny. Let me get the issue 4S board I was working on. So the 4S, the Spectrum's 4S board was from the Spectrum Plus. So let me go grab. Okay, so it's still attached to the Decoupling. Let me get that light out of the way. To the Decoupling case thing. But yeah, you can see that. Okay, I think I might disconnect. I've taken a photo of where all the wires go, so I'll just disconnect it from those ports as well. Be a bit easier. There we go. It's free apart from the power wires. So I remember where they are. So just compare it. That's that's the 4S, and this is the Soviet version, or sorry, Russian version. Actually, it's 94 from Russia. So, and it includes a keyboard, joystick interface. This one requires a plug-on for the joystick. So, yeah, I just thought that's it's just such a good comparison, thanks to what they've crammed into the ULA there. So yeah, so nice simple design. Like I said, I think this is probably the smallest I've seen it on the board, even with the BMK. Normally the board's a lot bigger, but you know, there's a lot of empty space. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to put the capacitors back on. I'm assuming it's just 100 nanofarad decoupling because they've left the electrolytic there. And actually I was just thinking, what about sticking this into a ZX81 case? That might be something interesting. Spectrum in a ZX81 case. Okay, ZX81. And kind of stick it in like so. And of course, got problem is we've got these standoffs there. That's the problem there. So I could probably, yeah, that might be my problem. Is just the standoffs. I'll have to figure something out about that. But it's small enough to fit in a ZX81 case. Would that be something interesting? But yeah. All right, so a little bit of work to do. But I quite like this little thing. This is this is neat. So yep, that's it. I actually do have some spare new old stock of the BMKs somewhere. We could design a new Speccy. See if we could get it even smaller by using a you know, just a single chip there. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Just wanted to show you this, get started on this one, and yeah, maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not. Let me know. Bye for now.